If we don't know our metrics, if we don't know what we're looking for, we can't know if we were successful or not. And that comes back to, again, sometimes people have a perception that their ads aren't working, but in reality, the ads are working and something else is broken down. Stop and don't spend another single cent on advertising until you listen to this. I'm Marianne Amies. This is Ready, Set, Paid Ads. Digital marketing for paid ad success. Let's go. Welcome to another episode of Ready, Set, Paid Ads. Today, we're going to talk about paid ads that actually pay off. I hear so many horror stories of people that have poured money into paid ads and feel like they've got little or no return. I hear of agencies that have burnt people. I hear of people that have tried to DIY, that maybe a friend has helped them out. And it's a story and I guess a reputation that ads has built over the years. Who can I trust with my ads, and are ads worth doing at all? So I wanted to talk today to you, especially if you've been spending money on ads, to help you really squeeze every last dollar out of them and make sure they're getting you the value. I've touched on this before, but when you don't have your ads managed properly, or when your ads aren't working, you don't just lose the money you're investing, you lose the momentum for your business. You lose the opportunity of what good ads and strategic ads could have been delivering for you. So you kind of lose out on both ends. Paid ads aren't just about running campaigns. They're about strategy, testing, alignment. And it's so important that you have these foundational pieces right so that your ads can work for you and you can maximize and make sure that it pays off for you. Investing in ads and gives you that opportunity to grow your business. So firstly, what we're going to do is we're always going to start with strategy, not the boost button. Ads fail often because there isn't a clear strategy in place. I hear about so many people where ads for them are boosting posts. There's also so many agencies that manage social media, and as part of their social media package, there's a boosting strategy. Now, I understand that not every agency has skilled paid ads managers, but if you're selling boosting to your clients as a service alongside social media, in some ways you can be doing them a disservice because, again, that money that they're investing in that boost would be so much better spent with a clear strategy and a setup in a campaign manager that could use the full suite of tools and amplifications that Meta offers, not just the limited, watered down version we get when we boost. So the number one reason that we want to start with strategy is we want to be really clear on why we're running ads. We want to be clear on who we're running them to. And we want to be really clear about what we're trying to achieve, because often we do ad campaigns for different reasons. I'm sure you've heard of a marketing funnel before, and I've certainly talked about it on here and in my first podcast series, Marketing with Confidence. A marketing funnel is where we take someone on a journey from never having heard of you before through to converted and hopefully as an advocate of your business. Ads are a tool to help move people through different stages of that funnel. They help us find people that have never heard of us before. They help us build trust and credibility. They help us get the sale, and they can often help us with that loyalty and retention piece as well. So knowing your objective, knowing that strategy of what we want our ads to do for our business, where our ads are supporting our different customer groups in different areas of their journey, means we then can set up ads knowing from the start if we're looking for awareness or leads or sales. And the Meta platform is set up for you to ask first what you want. The very first stage of campaign setup is, what is your objective? Not knowing that or relying on boosting is a missed opportunity. For example, if you're running traffic ads when you really need conversions, it's like using a hammer when you need a screwdriver. You're not going to get the job done. The platform will optimize the ads towards the goal you set. Set the wrong goal, you're not going to get the results that you deserve. So it's really important that you have a clear strategy and you're aligning your goals for your ads with your business goals, and you're making sure your campaigns are designed to reflect that. The next area that's going to make sure your paid ads really pay off is knowing your numbers. We've talked about, again, metrics on this podcast so many times. And as a business owner, you really need to know your key metrics. You need to know your targets, what you want to achieve in those key metrics. That's going to help you define success before you launch your first campaign. So you need to know what kind of cost per click you're targeting. What's a good CTR or click-through rate in your industry? What should a cost per acquisition look like? And what should a ROAS or return on actual spend look like? You've also got other metrics like MER if you're in an e-commerce brand. You might also be cost per lead if you're in more of a services business. But having these metrics defined helps you understand before a campaign starts what is a good campaign for you and for your business. And it differs. It differs for every single business. Every business has a different cost base. Every business has a different conversion or average conversion value. Every business has a different lifetime customer value. So understanding those metrics of your business helps you define those key numbers for your campaign. And when we think about numbers and defining those variables, we also need to make sure that our conversions are working and that our tracking is working. So if you're running an e-commerce campaign, it is critical that you've got your pixel in place, that your conversion API is working. And I would say even further that you've got a great Google Analytics setup, because we also know that platforms can over-quantify their results. And if you're using Meta and Klaviyo and Google Ads, I can guarantee that each platform is taking a little slice of the other platform's conversion and attributing it. So Google Analytics is a great way to split out and see more of a realistic picture of who was the first touch point or who was the last touch point in that customer journey to be able to really attribute the conversion accurately. So if we don't know our metrics, if we don't know what we're looking for, we can't know if we were successful or not. And that comes back to, again, sometimes people have a perception that their ads aren't working, but in reality, the ads are working and something else is broken down. So we've worked with clients where their conversion is hundreds of thousands of dollars, but that conversion doesn't happen online. That conversion might happen after consultation and quoting and months. And often we deliver the leads, but we can't track that final conversion value. And a client may say to us after 2 or 3 months, oh, look, the ads aren't working. When we review, we say, but we've delivered you 10 leads a month, and those leads have been at kind of $20 per lead. It's too short a window to see what's going to convert. You've told me you've got 6 really good quotes out, that you're in 4 final conversations. When they convert in a month or 2 months' time, the whole campaign is going to be wildly profitable. But if they don't know how to compute that journey, if they're not aware of what a cost per lead is acceptable for them, they're not going to be able to track that success. And again, sometimes at ROAS, people have a goal in mind of what that return on actual sales can be, but they're not actually looking at all the elements of their success. So if you've got a retail store and you're running online ads, you might not be converting online, but maybe there's been an uplift in your retail store that's not getting tracked. So really knowing your numbers, being very clear about your attribution, what is being tracked online and what is being tracked offline is really important to helping you understand if your ads are paying off. Then obviously we've got creative that converts. If you're looking to make your ads work harder and generate more for you, we can't stress enough that creative now is a key driver that's going to make or break performance. We're thinking strong hooks, clear CTAs, audience-aligned visuals, and high volume. I spoke a few weeks ago about the Andromeda update, and when it comes to Meta, a high volume of varied creative is going to be the key to success. So if that's not something you can produce, you need to be working with an agency that can help you with strategy, content creation, and ads management. It's like the golden triangle to really get your ads firing and really ensure that they're delivering. A lot of that traditional advertising, like sort of studio lookbook advertising for fashion brands and even kind of campaign visual, is probably not going to cut through how it used to. We need a lot more real. We need a lot more approachability, organic feeling content. You need to be testing different angles from your like problem benefit, us versus them, testimonials, user-generated content. There's so many different content ideas. Go into ChatGPT, put in your product and say, give me 20 different creative content ideas for an ad. And the more diverse they are, the better. The challenge is, of course, then creating them. But you ideally need to have 10 different creatives in your ad set now for allowing Advantage Plus and Andromeda to really maximize. And that's going to help your ads pay off. Before, we relied on 2 or 3 or 4. Now we need a bigger variety to move through that full funnel and to really benefit from what these AI tools are going to do for us. Of course, if we're looking to make sure that our ads are actually paying off, we have to be deep in our testing and retargeting. So testing is an ongoing process. It is not a one-off. Testing will always be an ads manager, 70% of their job. We may spend 10 to 20% of our time setting up an ad, but really the gold is in the optimization. It is going in, leaning into the data, testing new things, changing things, learning, evolving, A/B testing, or having multiple headlines, multiple creatives like I discussed, lots of different CTAs. Having enough quantity of variables to test, and then also having a testing strategy so you're really clear on what you're testing and you're really going back and analyzing those results and making key decisions based off them. And then the other is retargeting, retargeting our warm audiences. And I did an episode on retargeting and how important it is to ensure you modify your retargeting strategy to match the type of retargeting or warm audience that it is. Not all retargeting audiences are created equal, and you need to ensure that your strategy is reaching out to different warm audiences in different ways depending on where they were warmed up or how they were warmed up or exactly how warm they are. So I really encourage you to go back and listen to that episode again. And look, using your retargeting can really increase your ROI. If you're always going out to cold traffic and you're always getting in front of new eyeballs, you've got a real top of funnel heavy strategy. We need to spend more money to get those people that are thinking, considering, remembering, to get them to convert. Often the gold is at the bottom of the funnel where they're doing all the things, they're liking the posts, they're clicking the links, but they just haven't bought yet. So making sure our paid ads pay off is also about having enough strategy at the bottom to get them there. And I will just touch on, especially for e-commerce brands, having that email capture on your website. I have obviously different clients, not want to do the welcome code discount and not want to do the free shipping email capture. But the honest truth is you're paying so much money in your ads and in your marketing to get people to your website. If you can give just a little bit more to capture their email, we then get that gold of knowing who came to the website. And once we have them in our email list, we can actually email market to them and continue a strong ongoing relationship to move them toward that funnel of conversion. And if that costs you $7.95, they are actually making a purchase at that point. Or if you give them a 10% coupon and they don't use it, but they stay on your email list, we have captured and converted from our ad. And again, to me, that is return on investment. Turning someone from a social media clicker to an email list sign up, that is a conversion. That is a conversion that we often don't track and value. But look at your abandoned cart series, look at your nurture flow series, and look how that converts. And that is often untapped additional revenue that started as an ad and ended in email. So having a really clear retargeting strategy and making sure you're doing everything you can to capture traffic once it comes to your website to build an ongoing relationship. When it comes to trying to maximize pay off from your ads, you need to have a clear strategy. You need to know your numbers. You need to really lean into creative and also always be testing and always thinking about your retargeting audience as well. So the takeaways from today are to get clear on your objectives, review your tracking and audit your creatives and get creative with your creatives. We cannot stress that enough. If you want to stop wasting your ad dollars and start seeing those consistent results, these are the steps you need to take. And if it's something that you can't do on your own, I'd love to talk to you. Our agency is small and boutique. We have a really personalized approach, and we are loving the new demands of creativity within ads because our digital team and our paid ad team work so well together to conceptualize creative, create creative, and then manage it through in a really mindful way in an ads account to drive results and give you ads that pay off. So I hope you found this episode really interesting. Please reach out if you'd like to talk more. If you have any questions, you can always grab me on Instagram or LinkedIn. And I look forward to speaking to you again soon. That's a wrap on another episode of Ready, Set, Paid Ads. If you're looking for done-for-you services, training to upskill you in ads management, or free and paid resources to help you plan and execute better ads, head to wiseupmarketing.com.au. If you've loved this episode, be sure to subscribe for future episodes. And if you know someone that would love this podcast too, go on and share it.